weather outside is frightful, but the fire is so delightful. And since we've no place to go, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to I Love Christmas. What a wonderful time of year this is. But I would say that, wouldn't I? I'm Father Christmas, not Father August Bank Holiday. Anyway, come with me now into a winter wonderland where every day is Christmas.
Naughty, naughty.
Like a laugh at Christmas, 1974 was a great year for comedy. And not just Jimmy Savile's Christmas outfit either. Ha-ha! That was the year Frank Spencer sent 24 million people crazy. Marvellous.
Stop looking up there. You dirty shepherds.
Some mothers do have a fantastic Frank Spencer epic.
Well, it was one at a family event. It was one, Mom, Dad, it's on.
Frank definitely changed my life, and forever.
Hello, children. Hello, children. I'm the friend of all the little boys and girls.
Oh, no, you're not. You're a puff.
That man could have just been a very irritating kind of dork.
Who the hell are you?
I'm Frank. Frank Spencer.
She did a whoopsie in my beret.
I think he is completely up there with the best physical comedians ever. Easily as funny for me as John Cleese. And probably more talented, to be honest, because he can sing as well. He is an absolute genius, and I think very underrated in the sort of the big Hall of Fame.
The first choice from the BBC was actually Norman Wisdom, who I think would have been very good.
You murderer! Please, help! 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 Help!
But he turned it down, and then they asked Michael, and as soon as he played the part, as soon as I met him, he was just so perfect for it.
Betty, I always try.
I know you do, Frank.
No one could be more trying than me.
I loved the dialogue and just saw the germ of a character there to build, characterization that we started to build on then, because he wasn't married, there were no physical stunts in it, so we put a lot of physicality in the show.
Oh, Frank.
Betty.
Oh.
It did certainly bring me to the attention of a much, much wider public, but the character of Frank Spencer was the thing.
One more sign, I'll put you under my arm, carry you up those stairs and drop you from a great height.
Excuse me.
Frank's a sort of an idiot, a complete idiot, and you want to help him. You know, you really want to help him because he's going to get himself into more trouble all the time.
It's not often I lose my temper, Betty.
Oh, you didn't have a fight?
It was a hair's breadth.
The impressionations, as Frank would say, that were going on at the time was just ludicrous.
I've decided to come down and watch the Mike Yarwood show. He's bound to be mimicking me.
It's the man of 1,000 voices. Can I do a Frank? Betty. I think the answer's no.
Betty.
I'm very harassed, and then he'd go.
I first noticed Mike Yarwood staring at me in the BBC club, and I thought he was married, you know. Why is he staring at me over? This is a very odd feeling.
I'll fix it later.
I thought the very best was Lenny Henry. I just remember thinking this man has got to be going a long way because it's so good.
I said, Jessica, what country does Father Christmas come from? She said, I think he's Irish. I said, Irish? How do you mean Irish, you silly girl? She said, well, we got 6 windows and 2 doors in our house and he still comes down the chimney.
I did actually try to write a script without Betty. I thought there'd be more scope for him on his own, and I found I couldn't write it at all. It was quite amazing. She was absolutely essential to him.
The doctor said that after you've had the baby, you might feel that life wasn't worth living.
I felt like that for a long time.
We tried to play those characters as a husband and wife who loved each other.
Think of all the things we got to look forward to.
Where did that courtship take place? I mean, where did she meet him and think, yeah, no, I can see this working?
Got a lot of cards. Nice to have a lot of cards.
Well, you'll get one soon, Frank.
She must be a very tolerant woman, you know. It's got to be love, isn't it, really?
It'll look all right when you got all the lights on it.
When we get all the lights on it, we won't be able to see it, will we?
It's a television classic. Absolutely. Jessica's First Christmas. Oh, emotion. Oh, just everything about it. Brilliant.
I hope that television back soon. The repairman said it was going to be a big job.
Well, it usually is.
Well, it's got to be back for Christmas. I'm banking on it. Jessica wants to see the Queen.
Quite simply, they needed a prop. And my mother had just had one. My father was the head cameraman on the show. I was the right age. They didn't have to pay me. They had chaperones at hand. It was all very straightforward.
Who's going to see the Queen on Christmas Day, then? Who's going to see the Queen on Christmas Day, then?
I kept saying to her, who's going to see the Queen on Christmas Day? And of course, every time we could get the baby going like that, we'd use that shot over and over again.
Who's going to see the Queen on Christmas Day, then? Yes, you are.
In a way, babies, children are like animals in that they don't criticise you, they don't judge you. And he could just say what he liked, and he could be what he liked.
As leader of the Labour Party, I would like to say how worried we are about the tank situation. Pardon?
It'd be strange because you'd see him looking in the car and it cuts to a baby on film. It'd be shot on tape and there'd be this block footage of a baby on film.
That's it.
There is a VHS of outtakes, which is just me lying in my cot, them trying to get reactions out of me whichever way they can. They give me a rattle and take it away to try and make me cry, which actually doesn't do much. They gave me an apple and then took that away, and that one worked. The producer's hand comes in to tickle me, and I think I give him a look of complete consternation. And apparently I did it all in one take, so.
I spy with my little eye something beginning with T.
Apparently it's got a Guinness Book of Records entry. I think it's something to do with the most watched Christmas sitcom ever.
Good evening. Unto you is born this day in the city of David.
Put another bag on.
Put another bag on. A Saviour who is Christ, not that big one!
You know, it's the show I'd like people to remember, I think. I can think of plenty I've written I'd like them to forget, but that is the one. I think Jessica's First Christmas is the show it would be nice if people remembered it by.
I'm more than delighted with the legacy. You dream of success like that, you never imagine it will happen to
you. There's nothing I like more than to hear the sound of harmonious voices singing a beautiful Christmas carol. Admittedly, they're not always so harmonious, and some of them don't know all the words, or any of the words. And half the time, they're only doing it to buy ciggies. Oh, yes.
While shepherds wash their socks by night while watching ITV, the angel of the Lord came down and switched to BBC.
We three kings of Orient are one in a bicycle, one in a car. One in a scooter, Pip in his hooter, fondling ladies' bras.
Oh, tidings of comfort and joy, comfort and joy. Oh,
It's a work of scoundrels and cheap performers changing the words of songs.
piss off, you stingy. Horrible Christmas.
The thing we thought was comedy was "Come All You Faithful," you know. Oh, come let us adore Him. Really quiet. We'd all go, "Oh, come let us."
Persistent little beggars, and they've been at it all evening.
And everyone, "Oh, come let us," you know, in a sort of aggressive way. And then you go, "Christ."
What could be more wonderful than a chorus of little children singing their hearts out? Oh, if I'm honest, lots of things.
People say to you, "Oh, you were in St. Winifred's School Choir," and they go, "Oh, what was it, Grandad?" And I always go, "Oh, no!" No, it was Grandma.
There's no one quite like Grandma.
Oh, it was the worst song ever.
Grandma, we love you. Grandma, we do.
Didn't they just bring that out to make grandmas feel better because they'd done one for granddads?
It was just a commercial money spinner Christmas winner.
I was like 4 watching the TV going, this is so fake.
She had like a lisp or something wrong, like a speech impediment.
I was 7 at the time. I was the youngest one in it, and I got in because I was the stand-in. I had a little voice, you see. I had that R factor. So, like I have now.
If you turn and have a look that way, you will see the famous St. Winifred School Choir. In the front row, you might see 2 of your grandchildren singing with them.
We just fixed it for Jim. How sad is that? Some little kid wrote in and wanted to sing with us. I mean, you could have asked for anything, couldn't you? Sly Concord, and she wanted to sing with some scummy old choir.
All sorts of things happen in the British charts, and this is to prove they're so versatile, I guess. With a little lady in the front who's only 8 years of age, St. Winifred's School Choir.
Everyone made us feel so welcome. Yeah. You know, it was very much like come in, you know, and just really put us at our ease.
Because I bet some of us were right brats.
Yeah. Phoning all the relatives, you know. Christine's on the telly.
7 Thursday night. People at Ridicule, they're just jealous.
Yeah,
aren't they?
Exactly.
We've got a story to tell.
Yeah, and I think it was the fact that we were meeting people and
Kojak,
you know, and
lollipops off Kojak.
I feel like the Pied Piper here.
To you and she's a friend to me. No one quite like Charles to go on. No.
In '85, the nation's most precocious school children got the chance to compete for a song for Christmas. It was the pop idol of its day.
It was a time when loads of money was spent on TV competitions, and this was the biggest carol writing competition for children. It was a huge studio and having houses built, and it was really, really magnificent. I was just really, really chuffed to be asked to be on the judging panel.
There's a lot of kids who are a little bit too mature for the years on those shows.
I hear the wind pass by and look upon the sky.
You know, there's these 12-year-olds harking back to sort of Christmases from the 1950s with Casio keyboards on preset going, James Bond on TV, I love Christmas. That was another, this is so fake situation.
They didn't do Christianity any favours, let's say, put it that way.
Let's meet our first finalist. They are the Cardinal Newman Comprehensive School. It's written by 18-year-old Carolyn Hitt.
It was very traditional, very sweet. You know, it wasn't going to set the charts on fire, is it?
Child of peace, renew our world, open our eyes with the dawn. Breathe new life into our hearts.
Next, a senior entry written by 15-year-old Gary Barlow.
Gary Barlow? Is he on that? Bless him. God, look at him now.
He won his semi-final, we won our semi-final, so it was head-to-head.
Gary's song was a slow ballad
very much the kind of song that Cliff Richard might have sung.
And bells call high and low.
Gary's song was pure Barry Manilow. There was even that key change that you only hear in Manilow songs.
Following the light, drawn from near and far. It's today.
It must be mortified that they keep showing it as well.
He didn't, at that stage, I suppose, have the looks.
Even the way he dressed was middle-aged.
And he gave us today.
It was the famous pink jumper for the final.
Joy fills the air.
And a really awful haircut.
Shining Christmas trees of tinsel.
Well, he gets paid every time it's showed, though. It's more than we do.
More than we do, yeah.
But we all should take the time, because Jesus Christ...
It was very good, first-rate song. We thought Gary's delivery of it was tremendous.
I remember him being very, very grown-up and serious. I mean, he was already a veteran of the club circuit by this time.
I seem to remember him telling me that he earned more money than I did as a teacher. So at 15, he was already carving himself out a career.
Well, the judges' podium over there, over the past 2 days, has been the scene of furrowed brows, of deep discussions and difficult decisions.
I think it was a split panel, because I think some people wanted Gary to win and some people wanted Carolyn to win.
The senior section, run by Cardinal Newman School with Charles.
I don't think he was bothered, to be honest with you, if he won or not. Well, it wasn't the highlight of his life, was it, really?
He says, I don't mind who wins because good things will come of this for all of us. And he was right, you know, we went back to school and he ended up with $6 million in the bank.
Girls, I've always wanted the same thing. Money. No, I'm joking. She's pink, she's tiny, and she's got more outfits than Elton John. Yes.
I did have a lot of Barbies.
I must have had about 25 Barbie dolls. Barbie rocked.
Barbie was the doll I always wanted but wasn't allowed because I was a bloke.
I never got a Barbie doll for Christmas. I got her one summer after my cat was run over and I was inconsolable. But every Christmas all I wanted were more clothes for my Barbie.
Barbie was always top of my list at Christmas. And she still is, of course.
Crystal Barbie.
Crystal Barbie, you're so beautiful.
Do you know Crystal Barbie? She was amazing. She had like a beautiful rainbow-coloured holographic dress and glass slippers. Oh, it was great.
I had a Barbie that came, and I hope somebody out there had it as well, Love and Hearts Barbie. And she had a big skirt on like that, and with it came a stamp that said, I love you.
My entire childhood was spent living vicariously through Barbie. Yes, effectively all you do is progress from making Barbie go to the shops and buy lots of clothes and kiss boys to doing it yourself, which I think is great. That's what Barbie's for.
The idea for the Barbie doll came from my watching my own daughter Barbara play with adult paper dolls.
Well, I guess my mother thought if her crazy little daughter is getting this excited about this doll, there must be something in it.
I decided to name her Barbie because I wanted to name her after my daughter.
There was Barbie girls and there was Cindy girls, and I think Cindy is, she's better looking really, I think. Barbie was dead skinny, and Cindy definitely had better knockers.
Cindy had a big head and Barbie had longer legs. Cindy had a really big bulbous cranium.
Barbie was always, to me, kind of Cindy's more, can I say easy cousin? Cindy would come with slippers, do you know what I mean? Barbie came only with high heels.
I notice now Barbie has a washing machine. This is pure sacrilege. Barbie doesn't do her washing. She leaves it for Cindy to do.
Cindy's new kitchen is so beautifully modern. It works so well.
Cindy was always seen to be sort of like more the girl next door, and Barbie was always more glamorous and a little bit more tarty. I suppose a direct comparison would be, you know, Liz Hurley and Vanessa Phelps. So on Christmas morning, you know, which one would you choose?
Barbie's boyfriend was called Ken. Barbie never married him. She got a diamond engagement ring off him, and that was Ken's role, to be an accessory.
We had a problem as to how realistic to be with the private parts. Our designers, of course, wanted the area to be flat. I felt that we needed a bulge of some kind.
The lack of the old downstairs department must have been quite depressing, but she's got no nips and she's also just got a round plastic bump, so I don't think that would have been a problem.
I was always fascinated by Barbie's shape, most of all, when I was little, because she had extremely skinny legs and arms and gigantic breasts that were unfeasibly large, which are, of course, the style now in Hollywood where I live. People are actually shaped like that.
I suppose Barbie was the nearest you got to Pamela Anderson in your pocket.
Pamela Anderson is Barbie. She's the most popular pinup in the world. What does that tell you?
There are many women that I'm aware of who have crossed the line from not only liking Barbie, but wanting to look like her and changing their appearance to look like her.
I always wanted to look like Barbie.
She wanted to look like Barbie. She had no nipples.
Ever since I was a little girl and had my first Barbie doll, I wanted to grow up and have Barbie's life.
I mean, if you really did believe you're Barbie, you grow up expecting to be pretty damn perfect.
I've had everything done. My eyes, my nose, my cheekbones, my lips, my teeth, my chin, my jaw, liposuction from the waist to the knees. I had breast implants put in, but then I had them removed because they went hard. I had my face resurfaced, the laser peels and the chemical peels and the dermabrasion. You name it, I've had it done.
I remember being about 13 though, and going round a friend's house, and us going, do you know what, let's play Barbies, yeah? And we played Barbies for about 4 hours, and that was fantastic. And then we went, no, let's go and look at magazines with boys in now.
It was a sad day, but I'd ruined them. I mean, they looked awful. They were no longer the nice, beautiful, perfect ballerina Barbie. They were sort of punk rocker Barbies that I'd pierced up.
If she were applying for a job and she asked for a reference from me, I would say she is very adaptable, she's competent, she's smart, she's intelligent enough to play dumb, and I would hire that doll.
I don't watch a lot of telly at Christmas. After 52,000 mince pies and 680 gallons of Best Buy sherry, my mind's on other things. But I know you all enjoy a good movie, something magical, with kids in it, and a chap who can't do an English accent, and a flying boat, car thing.
What's it saying?
It's saying, chitty 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 bang bang, chitty 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 bang bang, chitty chitty bang bang,
chitty chitty bang bang, chitty chitty bang bang, chitty bang bang, chitty chitty bang bang, chitty bang bang, chitty chitty bang bang,
chitty bang bang, chitty chitty bang bang.
Oh, you chitty chitty bang bang, pretty chitty bang bang, we love you.
Oh, yes, chitty chitty bang bang. Oh, what a tune.
Near, far, in a motor car, oh, what a happy time we'll spend.
Bang bang, chitty chitty bang bang.
Our fine four-fender friend, bang bang, chitty chitty bang bang.
Our fine four-fender friend, chitty bang bang, chitty.
It is Christmas. I remember bouncing up and down on a mini trampoline that had been bought as my Christmas gift, watching Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Chitty chitty bang bang, we love you.
Chitty chitty bang bang meant that it was Christmas. I was guaranteed an afternoon of sitting in front of the telly with all my chocolates that I'd got out of those little stockings. I could scoff those in peace because it was my chitty chitty bang bang moment.
Fine four-fender, chitty chitty bang bang, chitty chitty bang bang, fine four-fender, chitty chitty friend.
Chitty Chitty Bang Bang evokes memories of a car being built out of bits of their house. And I remember him pulling off a bit of a chimney breast to make the bonnet of the car, and the kids waiting at the window to see what the car was going to look like when it came out. And I couldn't wait for this thing to be revealed when it came out. And it flew, and it was a boat, and it was the most perfect car in the world.
Chitty was originally a book by James Bond creator Ian Fleming. The film was made by the team that had just made the Bond classic You Only Live Twice.
The connection with the Bond people and Chitty Chitty Bang Bang was absolutely perfect for Chitty. The special effects, which Bond films were so famous for, were wonderful for us, especially for the flying car.
Everyone wanted a car like Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Didn't they have a little model with little wings that pulled out? And you just wanted it to just sort of throw magic dust over it, and it just came into a real proper big size.
It must have been the worst day ever at Corgi headquarters when somebody said, "We've got the franchise for Chitty Chitty Bang Bang," and they're like, "Oh dear God, what's that meant to be?" It's a boat, it's a car, it's a flying car boat.
I supposedly renovate the car, which was an old wreck, and then it takes on magical properties of its own after that.
There's this bit where Dick Van Dyke starts telling a story to his children, and then you go into this fantasy sequence.
That is a private yacht of the notorious Baron Bombers.
Baron Bombers?
Let go!
I
want it, I want it, I want it, I want it! Are you giving me an argument?
It's a wonderful story. It's not dated. You could look at it, and it could be any time, at any place, and it's enchanting, and it's a fairy story.
Someone to do.
My sister and I used to look at the boy and the girl who were acting in it and just thought, oh gosh, to be in a film, to be doing that, what a fantastic job.
The kids are always so posh. They're all so posh, but they have kind of, you know, a go-get-'em kind of attitude from which almost comes from the streets, but doesn't quite. When did children ever talk like that?
Daddy, we didn't go to school today.
Oh-ho. Well, it'll give the other children a chance to catch up, won't it? Run along, children.
They seemed to like me straight away, except for my Scottish accent, which they said, oh, that wasn't a problem, they'd get rid of it, which sounded a bit ominous.
Has he kissed her yet? Not yet. Well, just as soon as he kisses her, then they'll have to get married.
It's one of those big occasions where they decide to see every child who can walk in the country under the age of 9.
Adrian and I didn't see any other kids for 14 months, and we always got on fine. I mean, we only had each other, but it didn't feel like we had to get on. There wasn't a problem getting on.
It influenced what I wanted to do. Why on earth would I want to go back into the real world after having done something like that?
We got sausage tart and marmalade rolls.
I'm afraid I got them a little mixed up.
Truly scrumptious. You two are truly scrumptious. I think you're beautiful. And I like your car.
The name Truly Scrumptious really kind of concerned me because I've never lived it down. Even here I am at this grand old age. People call me Truly Scrumptious, and it makes me roar with laughter.
Truly scrumptious. You're truly, truly scrumptious. Scrumptious as a cherry peach parfait.
I think Sally Ann Howes was truly scrumptious. I think she was just that character. I can't think of better casting for it. I was deeply in love with her at the age of 8, and I probably still am now.
Oh, how nice to hear that he still likes me.
You're the answer to our wishes.
She was stunningly beautiful. I've never been close to anyone that dressed like that and looked like that and could sing like that.
Scrumptious as the breeze across the bay.
I adored the character of Truly Scrumptious, but I was able to leave her behind when I finished the film. I was able to get back to my less perfect person.
Beguiling, you're the answer to my wishes.
Truly scrumptious. That was one of the first words I ever wanted to spell. And I still can.
The child catcher. The best part in film history. In the middle of this film, which is about the universal worship of what children like, you get a child catcher.
There are children here somewhere. I can smell them.
After watching that film, I had to sleep in Mum and Dad's bed for 2 nights.
I think we've got them.
I don't even know if he was an actor. I think he could well have been an actual child catcher. I can always remember hiding behind the couch and finding my father next to me, because he was terrified of him as well.
The Baroness will have your teeth for a necklace and your eyeballs for earrings.
Is that nose? I mean, we got a couple of noses in our gang, but like, he had a hooter on him, and he used to definitely jump behind the settee. I think, oh no, don't follow him, don't follow him.
I remember lollipops, ice cream, all free today.
Lollipops!
Dad was a ballet dancer, apparently, in the Royal Ballet.
Ice cream! And all free today.
He's got a 19th century ice cream van that turns into a prison. Children still today are threatened with You know, if you don't get up them stairs now to bed, we're going to send the child catcher after you. Terrifying.
What is it? What's happened?
The children! He took the children!
The music was written by the same duo that had composed the score for Mary Poppins, the Sherman Brothers.
What do you seek, you people gazing at me?
You know, if you have a dozen children, and so who's your favorite? I mean, you love them all. I love the score. I love the whole score.
How can you tell I'm under a spell?
The Sherman Brothers are the most accommodating and kind-spirited couple I've ever met.
Toot, sweets, toot, sweets.
The candies you whistle, the whistles you eat.
Oh, the old bamboo, of course, the old bamboo. It was the old bamboo, Chitty Bang Bang. That's why it's Mary Poppins.
Anybody crazy enough to write supercalifragilisticexpialidocious would be capable of writing a song about Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. And we were.
I think Chitty Chitty Bang Bang's probably the best. But I thought it was my fine, fair-weathered friend, but it's fine, four-fended friend.
You, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, we love you. And our Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang loves us too. High, low, anywhere we go on Chitty Chitty we depend. Bang Bang, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, our fine four-fended friend. Bang Bang, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, our fine four-fended friend.
It's got some kind of, you know, magic and childhood delight about it. That's why people like it.
A phantasmagorical machine.
I dare say I'll be surrounded by people who've been really kind of cynical and sniping at it, but I'm not, because it's just a great kids' film, and I will hear nothing against it.
Can you imagine trying to pitch this story to a studio executive now?
It's a symbol of what can be done with imagination and dreams and the desire to do a good thing, giving that extra dimension just for love.
As someone who maintains a working fleet of reindeer, I can tell you that it's no joke looking after animals. And giving someone a pet at Christmas can be pretty irresponsible. A pet is for life, not just for Christmas. Of course, if that pet is a goldfish your dad won at the Christmas fair, it probably won't make it to Boxing Day anyway. But that's not the point.
You should never get a pet as a Christmas present. Absolutely no way.
And it's snowing outside and got the fireplace and a little cat. Yes, you want to do a pet at Christmas.
You kind of feel like scum because there was that really heavy advertising campaign in the 80s of like, everybody who gets a pet for Christmas abandons it or kills it and eats it because a dog is for life, not just for Christmas.
I think pets are great presents at Christmas. I really love the idea that something which is very high maintenance, which is not that far away from having a child, is just something that you just dump on someone on Christmas Day.
I'll never forget the look on Mummy's and Daddy's faces when I gave them that little puppy.
Dog is for anything. It's a dog. You know, in some countries they eat them.
All the time it was here, its back leg never touched the ground.
People still do daft things like try and wrap them up and all sorts, don't they, really?
If you're going to wrap a dog for Christmas, don't forget to put a little bowl of water and a few bonios in there, just in case it's under the tree for more than a day.
The only animal you vaguely want to see at Christmas is a turkey. That's fine. Maybe a goose if you're exotic.
During the Christmas holidays from school, I often got the class guinea pig. I was a guardian of the school hamster for one fateful Christmas holiday.
We were always like saying, you know, when you take the rabbit, you get lost, you know.
Bought a gerbil home. My mum was like, what is that? That is a rat. Get that out of my house.
I took stick insects home.
Maxwell Cooper gets some odd reactions when people hear of his hobby.
Rubbish! Rubbish! An insect that looks like a stick.
Why do you like them?
They're cute. They died, unfortunately.
There's always a thing with the school pet. You feed it, you look after it, you do all the things in the book, and it still dies, and it does it to get you into trouble.
I don't know why it did it. It just jumped out of the cage and solemnly threw itself onto the electric fire. Very odd.
I had a hamster called Cornflakes. There may have been impregnation. I don't know. It's got a boy's name, but it's always a girl. It always gets up the duff.
Breed at a tremendous rate and have a litter of up to 15 every 3 weeks.
School pets, they're just all slags.
I think my sister brought home 2 hamsters or 2 gerbils one time, and one of them had a chronic nosebleed on Boxing Day. It was a major trauma, you know. Just I wasn't bothered. So, you know, I was in the other room playing Matchbox super fast. Had better things to do, bigger fish to fry.
Football, the beautiful game Pelly called it, the expensive game I call it, replica shirts, calendars, tea towels, comb-overs. Kids can't get enough of it, but I'm a traditionalist. I like football best when it's played on a bit of green cloth with a lot of flicking. Beautiful.
I got it Christmas 1971. It was from Santa.
I ended up painting my entire team silver and calling them the Cybermen.
It was fantastic.
I mean, my kid never won a game. I mudded them. Had the $6 million man as me centre forward.
We spent all Christmas and all New Year playing Subaru.
And you see that ball whizzing into the net. It was absolutely fantastic. It's almost as good as scoring a goal in front of 40,000 people.
It started as a cottage industry. There's just, like the inventor Peter Adolf. It was just something ran out of a loft in Langton Green above an old post office.
When it came out first, of course, the figures were cardboard and easily bendable.
You basically got a little box, which you sent through the post, some cardboard men, wire goals, and a piece of chalk. You had to go at the Army Surplus store, buy a grey banklet, and draw your own pitch out.
I got the chalk and an old blanket. Yes, I was among the first. I was a trailblazer with Subbuteo.
Your 2 favourite teams fighting it out. They play whenever you arrange a cup tie, in your own home, every day. And who's the winner? Subbuteo table soccer every time.
I think somebody some Hungarian went to some games company and said, I want to do this table football game, whatever. And they said, no, get out of here. So he called it the stupidest name he could think of. Subbuteo in Latin apparently means to fly like an eagle. Subbuteo sounds like a football game, doesn't it? Kind of. Boot, sub, EO is soccer-like.
What began to happen was every single house started to get a team.
I had Brazil, but it got squashed a bit, and I couldn't go out and buy a whole new Brazil. They didn't have any, so I bought Norwich instead. So occasionally some Norwich players, maybe Ted McDougall or Phil Boyer, would have to play for Brazil.
Before you knew it, we had enough for a league.
There were home and away games, and we would have our Subbuteo players in little wooden boxes, carry them to our friends.
You effectively became a manager, and you know you could go out and play games, even if it was just on the living room carpet, you know.
My ground was quite a tricky ground because it wasn't on a table. It was on the carpet, and so you had to know the bumps and hollows. And I did. I knew the bumps and hollows of my own carpet, so there was a tremendous home advantage.
But it all went a bit daft, our Subbuteo League. Some of the girls were press-ganged into forming teams and entering the lower leagues.
I do remember our next door neighbour, he got his Subbuteo set, and I think he got me into it because he just liked to see me lying on the floor.
You'd always play it on the floor, and you'd kneel them, and then you'd snap them, and the goalkeepers always snapped. And then we didn't have super glue.
The smell of Bostik, you know, every time I see Subbuteo men, I always look for the wee blobs of clear glue at the bottom.
Not only did you just have these blokes in blue and blokes in white, but you could get a crowd, which is always really pointless, because what do you do with them? Flick to exit.
I think at one point they even had a miniature streaker that you could put on the pitch just to give it that little bit more realism.
My godmother bought me the floodlights. Now, unlike most boys, I couldn't make anything at all. So this required putting some things together. I don't think there was glue involved, but nevertheless, I had to get my brothers or my dad to do it. Of course, we had floodlighting in the house because we had, lights in the ceiling and that kind of thing. Chandeliers, mostly.
The legendary Bill Shankly, they reckon, always used to use it as a tactics board. And say they were playing Manchester United, he'd put the Reds up Manchester United and Liverpool bubble.
There was a famous team talk where he said Alex Stepney, so he picked the goalkeeper up, couldn't catch the cold, so he's off the table. And then he says, now, let's say that Matt has got a bad back. I'll tell you something, he's 2 bad backs. The other one can't play either. So he was off the board.
He's hopeless. Flick him off, flick him off.
I've a Norman McGarden bigger than Nobby Styles.
And he used to finish up with George Best, Bobby Charlton and Dennis Lawrence. Christ almighty, there were only 3 players that kind of beat us.
And they beat us 2-0 the following day, but there you go.
The Undertones, I think, summed up the angst of a generation.
Fergal didn't like football at all, but for the video, he was game for it, you know, consummate show business professional that he was. He played the game, but I don't think he was just a video fan. It's one of the worst rhymes in songwriting, I think. He always beat me at the video because he flicked a kick and I didn't know.
He always beat me at the video cause he flicked a kick and I didn't know.
I know it's Fergal Sharkey, but how can you not know how to flick to kick?
You know in Cebuche you're supposed to flick them like that, which I didn't realise. I used to do that.
Well, I'm sorry, you can only flick. You can't shovel. That's knuckle stuff. And as far as I'm concerned, that's a bit of cheating there.
I like to shove a little bit, you know, and you get more accuracy up from that angle rather than like that.
You can't do that.
Flicking is for Cebuche or nerds. People who just think that they're purists.
It's foul play, I'm afraid. Penalty.
Yes, Christmas is a wonderful time of year, and I think it's time now to salute the people who make it all possible. Well, in actual fact, the person who makes it all possible. Me.
Santa's grotto, man! I mean, he was just a massive beard with some little eyes, like, you know, and really strange smell of alcohol in his breath as well.
The queues for bread in the Russian Revolution were nothing compared to the queues for Santa's grotto in Clays Garden Centre, Sunderland. I'm telling you what.
It was absolutely magic because he had his own grotto and you went in and there was music playing and elves everywhere and you went and sat next to him. Oh, come here. I'm filling up.
This is serious. I'll go for a one-to-one with Father Christmas. We're going to have our own time together in our own space. Leave us.
Go back to sleep. Right. Good night.
What's that big bag you're carrying?
I would be sick with excitement on Christmas Eve, you know. It was just the most best night of the year.
My brother was worse. He wouldn't go to the toilet, he'd be that excited. Just constipated with excitement.
Tomorrow, everything is going to be different. Everything is going to be perfect. I could feasibly own all the toys in the world. Don't you understand?
Mince pies, carrots for Rudolph, and some brandy for Father Christmas. Because, you know, it's cold outside, you need a little refreshment, my old dad said. Little tipple for Santa.
You know, Irish Santa likes Guinness. He really does. And Rudolph has to be thought of. Never forget the carrots for Rudolph. I'd go downstairs and I'd go into the kitchen, and there it was. The Rudolph reindeer bite out the carrot. And the whiskey was gone. And the decanter of whiskey had gone as well. But it was Scotland.
My dad goes, I know Santa Claus. And I go, you don't know Santa Claus. You know, skeptical. No, I know him. And a helicopter landed in the parking lot of this mall. And the guy got out and went, hi, Steve, to my dad. So I was pretty impressed that my dad actually knew Santa Claus.
What do you mean? No, there is one. There's a real one. But all these other, you know, are helpers. But there's definitely a real one, without a doubt.
I can't remember when I found out he doesn't exist, because he does exist, mate. You know, and I don't know what you're saying. I'm sat here in a chair with hot lights on me, and you're trying to convince me that Father Christmas doesn't exist. Well, I tell you, he does.
Greg Lake. Now there's a nice fella. Had one solo hit. Know what it was called? I Believe in Father Christmas. Well, Thank you, Greg. And I believe in you, too.
Two concepts that I never thought should be married. Prog and a Christmas single.
Emerson, Lake and Palmer wanted to be taken really seriously as musicians. They had classical pretensions.
They weren't a singles band, didn't want to be. They didn't write things for Top of the Pops.
So it was a big surprise when Greg Lake came along and doing a pop single.
They said there'll be snow at Christmas. They said there'll be peace on earth.
Who said there'd be snow at Christmas and who said there'd be peace on earth? I must have missed that meeting.
A veil of tears for the virgin birth.
It was not written as a Christmas single. It was written as part of an album, and in fact it was written during the summer. I used to remember my Christmases as being very happy times, you know. And as I got older, Christmas became much more commercial, and it was all about money. And that was the sort of underlying motive in the song, really. It started off as a little acoustic song and ended up with as a real dramatic piece with orchestra.
It's a fabulous piece of music behind it.
Is it Prokofiev or something? The whole and you know, anybody who's got the cheek to do that, I've got to admire, really.
Greg called me into the studio and said, well, there's a little bit in the middle which is a bit of a space. Can you fill it out with something? So I said, sure, yeah, fill it out with something. So I put in Prokofiev's Troika from the Lieutenant Kiji suite. And Greg said, that's great, that's really good, that's really good. I went, okay, I'm glad you like that.
It's always nice to have a hit record. It was really a nice bonus that it happened.
Greg said if we're going to do a Christmas single, we've got to have a video.
They sold me a dream of Christmas.
When I heard the single, I said the place to shoot this is Israel.
They told me a fairy story.
A lot of the shooting was actually done in the Sinai Desert, which in itself is just an extraordinary place to be.
And then all the camels in the video, because that was actually shot in the real Jews. Again, no. You know, he should have a bobble hat. I'm sorry, I'm a traditionalist.
We had to shoot that shot of the camels about 3 or 4 times, and the problem was the last camel kept biting the arse of the one in front of it. And I have this vision still today as the sun was setting, the film crew frantically running these camels around again for the last time. We got it in the end. Great cheers went up.
I do remember the thought of making the video was to try and somehow make it so that it brought people back to what Christmas was all about.
They said there'd be snow at Christmas. They said there'd be peace on earth. Hallelujah, Noel, be heaven on hell. The Christmas we get we deserve.
For one member of a band just to step out and do this seems unbelievable.
I would guess that Emerson and Palmer were enjoying a hot toddy together in the snug of a cosy Christmas pub, singing carols and not being so kind of miserable and pedantic about the whole thing. Oh no, actually, there's not snow on Christmas or peace on earth. Yeah, we know. That's why we get drunk.
Christmas is a time for families and traditional values, when parents can take their young ones to the theatre to enjoy wholesome entertainment like violence and cross-dressing.
There's a mystique and a mystery about the whole thing.
He wants to play blockbusters.
I think it's a very good source of income for soap stars.
Remember me? Absolutely wonderful family times out together.
Naughty, naughty.
What a fascinating woman.
Where?
Pantomime. Terrible. I think I'd rather do lap dancing.
When you come out, no voice left from shouting, "It's behind you!"
We used to go when we were 15, 16, 17 and jeer and shout, "It's behind you," at the wrong time and irritate Buttons and whoever the star was at the time.
I'm bad, Captain Hook. Tough and lusty.
You have to draw the audience in. They start to bore a little. And I go, "You're absolutely pathetic. I'm terribly sorry, but I can't hear you."
By my hook pan, I'll find you, and when I do...
And then it starts, and they get bigger, and they get bigger, and they get more like it.
Plus the candidates here to be pious and drool and a cheering and roaring and roaring.
And then it's wonderful.
There's always a celebrity in it as well. A sort of B-list, C-list celebrity.
I saw Cannon and Ball in pantomime at London Palladium. Cannon and Ball, they were fantastic. I can hardly believe that I'm saying this, but Cannon and Ball were funny.
Well, the kids come along on the shout out and they let themselves go, and so do the mums and dads. The mums and dads are worse than the kids.
My mate said to me, "Don't ever do a pantomime, John. Kids, hangovers, just forget it."
Where's he gone? I don't know.
You know, behind you. Yeah, I know. So what? I've seen him. You know, I'm not playing along.
I love doing gigs at Christmas time in regional theatres when he says, starring so-and-so who used to be in Crossroads.
I was in Crossroads for about 10 years, which was great because it did give me the chance to go off at Christmas and use my cachet from Crossroads to get a pantomime as the villain.
It always used to make my skin crawl because it'd be really embarrassing, as if it was like reassuring. You know, Jenny Powell, as seen on da-da-da-da-da-da.
When you go, "What? Who's that?"
In case you don't know and you've never heard of her.
And he's like been one of the blokes in Dad's army that stood at the back.
I was always billed as the Crackerjack girl, and that went on for a number of years. Over the last few years, I thought I'm going to have to lose the girl bit.
The hit children's show, Crackerjack, started its own annual panto.
I joined the town brass band, play in the parks you stand, and every Sunday morning I wear my uniform.
The BBC had this idea of doing a Crackerjack pantomime.
Oh!
You were very, very careful not to say Crackerjack,
A diamond-studded, solid gold Crackerjack pencil!
because if you did, then you'd never shut them up.
They were wonderful pantomimes because they all had terrible experience of panto performance in their own right.
It was amazing how many adults used to say, you know, I get the tea ready, I sit down with the kids and watch it.
I was wishy-washy. Peter Glaze was Widow Twenke. Jan Hunt was Aladdin.
Stay out and hold them!
All right, keep your turban on.
Ed Stewart was ever so funny.
All this is yours. It's like having the key to Jimmy Savile's deposit box.
They found that I was not a great line learner,
Well, that'll be terribly difficult, Aladdin. I might have a bit of trouble with that.
so it made it a bit of a joke every time I forgot anything.
Morning!
It's evening, Ed.
Oh. Oh, yes, well, evening!
After time, he didn't know what day it was, which made me laugh.
Robinson Crusoe.
I never did Robinson Crusoe. Can't help that one, sorry.
Who's there?
Have you been doing your research? And I did do Robinson Crusoe, and I've forgotten.
You can call me Friday.
Why, what's happening then?
Oh, maybe I did, but I sure as hell wasn't Man Friday.
That's my name, man, Friday. And I like it, 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 I like it.
Crackerjack had that fantastic little thing where they would take a current pop song and change the words to it. It was brilliant.
I'm gonna tell you about what you gotta do. Come on around, get your sailing shoes. Here we go.
I enjoyed the finales because we used to take the songs that the kids would recognise out of the hit parade.
I like it, I like it.
Some people got rather precious and said, no, you can't change the words of my song. But the majority of people, even the Beatles, were perfectly happy.
All over the world.
One of the best things about Christmas is the tree.
Rocking around the Christmas tree.
I wanted them up in November, and my mother used to go, in Germany, they don't put the tree up till Christmas Eve. And I'm like, I don't care, I'm not German. Just get the decks up, Mother, it's Christmas.
Christmas tree, I think my mum used to dread me coming home when it was time for the Christmas holidays because she knew she was like, oh no, she's going to bring a picture of a snowman, it's going to be really awful, I'm going to have to put it up for her, and it's going to have cotton wool on it, and then a few bits of glitter for the eyes, and I'm going to have to say it's lovely and put it up.
We used to spend hours making those paper chains of little hoops of paper, and used to make my mum go and buy large amounts of sugar paper that we would then spend hours cutting into strips and sellotaping together or gluing together, and it was very, very messy. It took hours, but you were so proud when they were up there.
At school we used to make Christmas cards. That was so exciting, putting the glue on and sprinkling the glitter on and then tap, tap, tap. Oh, optimum glitter retention. And your mum used to just be like, yeah, that's really nice, throw it away.
Very, very effective if you hang them in the window.
You know, 12 sets of lights in each plug. The whole house was like wow, wow, wow. You'd sit next to the Christmas tree and the whole side of your face would just go numb with the heat. You'd be like that. Yeah, no, we had absolute Christmas overload.
The heat from the lights, we shan't have any central heating on for nearly a month, which is really remarkable for this time.
You can't possibly get all these decorations down for 12th night, though.
No, so we have a lot of bad luck, I guess, then, don't we?
Always that nightmare in the beginning of January where you lose track of whether it's the 12th day and, oh my God, has the Christmas tree stayed up too long?
You know, even if you're knackered and you'd leave it there till like February, wouldn't you? But it looks like a plan, it'd be all right. But you've got to have it down for the 6th of January.
It was such a shame when it all went down because everything just seemed so bare and naked, and then, you know, oh God, next thing I'm going to have to go back to school as well. And then you thought, oh yeah, and that present I got, that Girls' World, the makeup's not going to come off, and you know, I'm going to look back and think I just never wish I'd had this Christmas holiday.
It's a different world for a growing up girl.
Girls' World is specially for girls to learn about makeup and hairstyling.
For a growing up girl.
Girls' World. Loved Girls' World. When you opened it on Christmas Day, you think, oh, I've got Girls' World, fantastic.
My sister had a Girls' World, I used it more than she did.
It was my most favourite toy.
Just slip a sable under the
I used to call her Gail. Girls' World, Gail.
I think I called mine Sabrina, actually, after Sabrina and Charlie's Angels, because I had the dark-haired one.
Santa baby. You can go click, 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 click like that, and it pulls out and gets longer. And then you can do a hair, or you can go click, 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 and it gets shorter. So a hair grows and gets shorter, all in one click.
Girls' World is actually what is called a styling head.
Girls' World is a plastic head with hair sticking out of it. A bit like mine, actually, so I modelled my own on it.
In France, it had to have a scarf around the neck, just because they didn't want it to look as if the head had been guillotined.
I remember I used to look across and see this silhouette across my bedroom, and there'd be like just this head, like you'd been out and done the dirty deed and brought back this head.
She was kind of cool and she was pretty and she had big lips and blue eyes and just a really delicate little nose. She just had a really pretty face.
I don't think anybody realised just how successful a head could actually be.
I can still apply sparkly green eyeshadow practically with my eyes closed on someone else, as long as their features are very small and they have no eyelashes.
Unfortunately, you put makeup on it for the first time and then you couldn't get it off.
I don't know what happened to her. She's dead and buried now.
My Girls' World looked like she'd been in a car accident by the time I finished with her. Either that or she'd had a really good shag, because the back of her hair was all sort of really matted and like up here like that.
I absolutely love that toy. I really did. It was my best toy ever, ever, ever. I loved it. Apart from my roller skates.
Save your love, my darling, save your love.
It's a classic Christmas #1.
For the summer nights with moon and stars above.
Is he classically trained?
His serenade along to sing you.
It is arguably the worst song I've ever heard.
The reddest rose I'll always bring you.
I can still remember it now, catchy.
Save your love for Roma and for me. Only you.
I first met Renato. He was a waiter in a restaurant in Birmingham. And he'd get on the mic and sing, and then after an hour he'd say, "Get the Italian off, clear him off. What's he making that din for?"
I went to New Faces.
Yesterday I was happy to play for a penny or two a song.
The judge was Noel Edmond. He's got a beautiful voice, fantastic. He can never be out of work, but he'll never make to the pop. He'll never be #1, you know.
I wouldn't imagine he's got any great illusions of being an international star. He's one of those very important entertainers who does it because he likes it, and he does it well.
I don't really remember him at all.
I'd love to be able to say I remembered him.
But now Renato is having the last laugh. As a result of his New Faces appearance, he was offered a recording contract.
The women just loved him, adored him. He was a top draw in the social clubs in them days. The actual guy that wrote the song, Save Your Love, he was looking for a sort of Italian waiter or somebody like that. Henceforth, he got Renato then to come down and record Save Your Love.
I switched the television on one night, top of the pops. I see this little fat Italian with a blue sweater on and a rose giving "Save your love, my darling, save your..." I thought, I do not believe this.
And this year's Christmas #1 is from Renee and Renato, and here they are with Save Your Love.
The video that went with Renee and Renato, I suppose, was a watershed.
Save your love, my darling, save your love.
And as king of the sweaters, as someone well qualified to make a comment about fashion, it was a terrible style, awful texture, and it was overfilled.
I always bring you. Save your love for Roma and for me.
It's as if that he was cold and he sent a runner out and they've gone, well, that'll do. I know it doesn't fit, but you wear it. But he'll go, well, it's keeping me warm. I think it's for practical reasons, really.
It was freezing cold. I said, I'm frozen. I can't go in there anymore. I must have somebody. He said, "Oh, you got anything?" I said, "I got a couple of jumpers." I said, "Put them on."
Save your love, my darling, save your love.
Well, you know there's a clothes horse. I thought he was more like a rocking horse. He was to blue sweaters what Herod was to babies.
There was a hitch. Renee didn't want to be on the video. I don't think she thought that it was going to be as successful as what it was originally.
So very long, the memory of our love still lingers on.
In the video, Renato was Renato, wasn't it? But Renee wasn't, I don't think. It was someone completely different who sang it.
Don't you know how much
By this time, the BBC were desperate for something for Top of the Pops. I heard the song and I thought, I still get paid, so who cares?
If you watch the video very closely, her face is like obscured throughout the thing, and I don't know whether she realised how bad the song was afterwards, or maybe she's like been burned in a fire.
With the passing of years, memories become just a little fuzzy. But I do have just a vague mental picture of a kind of Romeo and Juliet scene, wasn't it?
And you think, yeah, this is real love. Love for the working man.
The idea was he threw the rose up, Renee caught it.
My God, I threw the roses, 50 roses, 100 times, and she could have said, "Will you please catch the rose?"
I then suggested I drop the rose and you reverse the shot.
Everybody was trying to do Renee Renato. And it was good because you don't do somebody that's not famous, you know?
Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. and there is no such thing as bad publicity.
When he sings in the proper style, when he sings his own proper Italian tenor type singing, he is an absolute monster. He's a beast. Magnificent.
Christmas #1, they can never take it off because Christmas is every year, and when they come to that, that's forever.
Hey, appropriately enough, it's Father Christmas. Wait a minute. No, it's not. It's Renato. Congratulations on your success.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I must say, as I fly over towns and villages, looking down at the bright lights, I sometimes wish I could join in the fun, meet the customers, say, "Hello, I'm the chap who brings the presents." But one place I'm always glad I've never been is the school Christmas disco. 5 hours of Wham and too much woodpecker cider. Oh, dear me, no. Give me sherry any time.
School discos were brilliant. You used to spend 20,000 years getting your outfit together, and it was always some batwing jumper arrangement and matching beads, and you look rubbish and too much makeup, you look like a gargoyle.
Not happy memories for me, as you can imagine with these ears.
All the girls in the hairdressers the night before the school Christmas disco, and it would be snowing outside and the radio would be on playing lots of Christmas hits.
There was a shop called Trendy Girl where I lived, Trendy Girl, and everything had to come from there, and it was pretty sparkly stuff, really lovely, sequins and boob tubes, all that sort of stuff. Nice with a flat chest.
Me and my friend Emma, we always looked about 21, an ugly 21. So we used to always get the booze, and we used to order like a right load of rubbish like 2020 and Concord. If I ever smell Concord wine nowadays, I'm actually physically sick.
From 14, 15, we were fairly good at nicking stuff from, you know, parents' drinks cabinets, or that was posher friends of mine. We didn't have a drinks cabinet, you understand, the cupboard.
And then there was just the general faking being off your head, which went on in the disco, which was mandatory. Like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm really upset, I really fancy so-and-so, or I've got the spins, or, oh God, what happened last night? You know, all this kind of rubbish. The most exciting thing was seeing the teachers in their off-duty clothing. Hey, sometimes a relaxed look, perhaps a corduroy was worn by a teacher, an open-neck shirt, and just a casual sweater thrown on.
The teachers dancing, oh yeah, that was fantastic. But you used to think it was dead funny. You know, you used to think it was dead cool if they danced. And they thought they were brilliant, you know, with the big arm patches on, having a lovely time.
The idea of teachers dancing is ghastly, and didn't really happen. Simply didn't happen. They were just there, kind of like security men, just staring the wrong way, looking aggressive.
Our Christmas discos were pretty full on, actually. Who needs mistletoe, I tell you? You know, there was so many hormones running around that room. You would put your hands around his neck, he'd put his hands around your waist, he'd put his hands on your bum, and you had to remove his hands from your bum unless you wanted to be beat up for the rest of your school life and branded as a prostitute whore.
All my friends were gorgeous, and I never ever stood a chance. Jonathan Goodliff, if you're out there, thanks. Yeah, he was my first kiss, and it did happen at a disco.
The enduring memory is of standing at the side of the school disco on my own at the Smoochie number, because that was always the last song played, and that says to me, standing on the side.
You were just so excited you were going to find romance, and you know, the most handsome boy at school was going to ask you to dance and kiss you, and then you'd walk home hand in hand, and of course the relationship would blossom throughout the rest of the school year, and it was always going to begin that day at that Christmas disco. Why did I never learn?
I like traditional Christmas presents, the toys that have been around for generations. And what could be more traditional than a set of futuristic puppets in rescue rockets from the 1960s? Thunderbirds, I'll go!
5, 4.
I like the Thunderbirds calendar.
3. I love Thunderbirds. 2.
Hated Thunderbirds.
1.
I don't think you could not be a fan of Thunderbirds, really.
Thunderbirds are go.
I can name them, but not necessarily in the right order.
The Tracy, Scott.
Scott.
Thunderbird 1 was Scott.
Message received and understood.
Now that I'm put on the spot, I can't remember the Tracy brothers' names.
Virgil.
Thunderbird 2, I always wanted to be, was Virgil.
FAB.
And was there another one?
Dick. That's wrong. It's not.
No, there was no Dick. All right, we all know that.
Alan was Thunderbird 3.
Are we just going to sit here? The gay one was Tracy, wasn't it?
Gordon.
Gordon, quite a cushy number, really.
Supposing there's a distress call.
John, the one who's in Thunderbird 5, and I reckon just used to play with himself all day long.
John.
The rest of them were hanging about at nightclubs and things and getting off with really fit puppets. And, like, you know, he was stuck there on his own.
That's a lonely spot.
We gave them Jeopardy, Death and Destruction.
Quickly, this way!
Thunderbirds is actually a dead good show. It's got that weird sort of family who live on this stupid island, and they've all got their exciting roles, and they all go down shoots behind pictures and their eyes flash, and there's a villain called the Hood.
When will international rescue start operating?
It's a nice show because it's about rescuing people. It's like Blue Peter in space.
Okay, Scott. Request granted.
I would meet friends who were still working in the feature business, and they would say, "Hi, Jerry, what are you doing?" And I would say, "I'm making puppet films." They say, "Pardon?" "I'm making puppet films, you know?"
In the early days, the laboratories wouldn't even collect our rushes because there was, you know, what's this? These people making these little, silly little things.
I was embarrassed into being successful. I mean, it was simply that.
I always thought Thunderbird 2 was the coolest, because it had loads of different stuff. Like, I remember a great one where there was some people stuck in a mine. Oh, people stuck in a mine? I'll need my little trucks with sort of corkscrew drill things on the front of them that I have kept just for this occasion.
I owned Thunderbird 1, Thunderbird 2. I'm one of 3 girls, you see, and my dad didn't manage any little boys, you see, so we used to get sort of boys' toys bought for us.
I can't really remember the voices too much at all.
Thunderbird 1 to Thunderbird 2. Virgil, how about your ETA?
A-okay, Father.
Hi, Gordon. Are you there? Yes, Brains. Have you got any orders for me?
Parker, get out the Rolls Royce.
Yes, m'lady. When Parker's face was presented to me, it was a beautiful piece of sculpting, wonderful face, and I remember thinking, we've really got to find a good voice for this guy.
Oh, thank you, sir.
We used to go to a little pub restaurant in Cookham, and there was a lovely old retainer type character.
And his first words were, "Would you like to see the wine list, sir?" So there we go, Parker was born.
I was just wondering, in fact, if I might have the rest of the afternoon off. I thought I might take Cook out for a punt.
My favourite character in Thunderbirds had to be Lady Penelope.
Get the Rolls Royce. We are going for a little drive.
I wanted Penelope Fielding to play Lady Penelope.
Well, let's start in a very small way because I don't know where else to start.
I don't like this at all. There was never any question that I would give this voice to anyone else. She belonged to me. You must gamble hard when you play that dangerous game.
She was very persistent and got very upset. And finally, much against my better judgment, I said, okay.
Thunderbirds are go.
Action!
It's only spoilt by those terrible real hand shots. They are hilarious. It's cut to real hand. It's back to puppet, real hand on end of wrist.
The little people in it would always overshoot their turn. Did you ever notice that? You know, they always go like that. And then someone would speak and they go around like that, but they go too far and then come back again.
Trying to make the puppets do anything, I mean, it was just murder.
Come on up there.
It was sheer purgatory. And that's an understatement.
A revival of Thunderbirds on TV caused another generation of children to rush to the shops. Tracy Island was the must-have toy of 1992.
It was first available on the market in the mid-60s, and that's when the first series was aired on TV. Generally, the toys are only as good as when the television programme is being shown. But with Thunderbirds, it's continued to sell, especially the legendary Tracy Island.
Saturday's precious cargo arrives on schedule for the Sunday rush, but consists of just 24 Tracy Islands for the busiest Toys R Us store in the country.
Well, I was very popular at that time because people ring me up and saying, have you got Tracy Islands? I say, no, I haven't.
There was this huge furore about getting hold of Tracy Island for Christmas.
It sounds like a job for Blue Peter.
F.A.B. brain. I know what we'll do. Blue Peter will make a Tracy Island. This is not beyond the realms of possibility. Of course we can do it.
A tissue box, a cheese pot, a yoghurt pot, a simple loo roll. Ooh, this is lovely. So this is the one I had in the airing cupboard. It's really starting to take shape. A matchbox, vegetation, bath sponges. I love these. Crepe paper around my pipe cleaners. This is the best bit. And there you go. Thunderbird 2 fits very nicely inside there. And that really is it.
Considering they were using centres of toilet rolls and all odd bits and pieces, I thought they did very well.
And this is the one that I made earlier.
The idea that you could make something like that look out like it, even if they'd been thoughtful children who wouldn't want to hurt your feelings, you must have been able to see they were deflated. And I presume, you know, there were other kids who were straight onto Childline.
I know I'm biased, but I think it's better than those that people have bought.
I love it. I'm really attached to it.
I think it's a national institution now. I mean, there's very rarely, if you mention Thunderbirds, people don't know what you're talking about. I mean, everybody knows what Thunderbirds is.
Technology has moved on so far. They can do all sorts of virtual reality, but yet kids absolutely love everything Gerry Anderson's done, so I think in that respect he was probably quite a genius.
If Thunderbirds is a success worldwide that I believe it is, I suppose I should be very proud. Yeah, I'm very proud. That's the answer.
You can open your eyes now.
Tintin, look. Oh, it's snowing.
Brains, you old devil, you've given us a real old-fashioned Christmas.
Everybody wants a white Christmas, but you just don't seem to get them nowadays. Not like here. Oh, yes, if you want a white Christmas, pop up here for a bit. It's snow, snow, snow all year round. Global warming by Aunt Fanny. Oh, sorry. Am I allowed to say that?
Every time it snowed, we're out there. You know, you would just like, we just seem to spend our entire lives outside. It was fantastic.
I had a red plastic sledge from Halfords, which was very, very fast, and faster than a wooden one, to be honest. Even though the wooden ones looked great and you could get 3 people on them, the plastic tray, you couldn't steer them for hell or high water, but very fast.
Of course, the most powerful people in our peer group always had the best sledges. Some of us had to make do with a Rover's biscuit tin lid and made a very efficient type of sledge.
When you get a bit older, you actually realise it's not so much fun to go on a sledge. It's more fun to go on a tea tray, or perhaps if you're on a cliff of some kind, when you're say 14, a bin bag, which goes very, very fast, although you do get a very sore bum afterwards.
No matter how many kids' heads we saw cracked open, nothing deterred us from using the snow, the ice, the slush as a slide. Sliding was good.
I was always a bit frightened of slides, you know. You'd get to school in the morning and there was some ice and everybody would be sliding on it and polishing it, you know, as much as you can. So it would stay there for days, you know. The sun could come out, but the slide would last all week.
And then some sort of come along with sound at lunchtime. And you'd be like, oh, devastated.
serious snowman action. It wasn't true, the amount of snowman building. You know, there were always a surfeit of carrots and other root vegetables with which to decorate the snowmen at Christmas.
When we build a snowman, we build a snowman to last, because we know it probably won't snow again that winter. Ridiculous to think that snowman's going to melt overnight.
A snowman that really could live forever appeared as a short film in 1982. The snowman was every child's dream come true.
It's magical and very, very sad.
It's just a Christmas that every kid wants, really.
Snowman is Christmas. Whatever did we do before the snowman?
The storybook came out first, the illustrations, Raymond Briggs. It is the stunning pictures, beautiful and simple.
One of my animators bought the Book of the Snowman and put it on my desk and said, there's a perfect storyboard. I said, start cutting them out, stick them under the camera, and we'll film.
I looked at it, I said, this would be just wonderful to do with just music, with no words. And we took that into Channel 4, who said, that's a great idea, let's do it.
It was introduced by a big hero of mine, David Bowie.
This attic's full of memories for me. We spent all our summers by the seaside, and in winter, at home.
And I thought, oh, this must be good, because David Bowie won't sign up for just anything.
Frost on the window.
He turned up wearing a really, really bad, horrible pullover. And you think, David, no, what are you doing to yourself?
One winter I made a really big snowman.
Bizarre. I mean, why was it necessary?
He got this scarf for me. You see, he was a real snowman.
The Americans decided they wanted Julie Andrews on the front, and I remember saying, it's a story about a little boy. So then they said, do you know anybody? And David was in touch with us because he loved When the Wind Blows. So we said to his agent, does he ever have half a day that we could film him as an opening? And eventually he said yes.
The snow fell steadily all through the night. And when I woke up, the room was filled with light and silence. And I knew then it was to be a magical day.
Builds a snowman, a beautiful snowman, and he has coal for eyes, and it's all the proper thing, and he has a scarf, and he has a hat.
Wakes up in the middle of the night and sees the snowman move.
The important part is the relationship between the little boy and the snowman.
And then they go on an adventure. Snowman takes him to Snowman Land, and they go, we're walking in the air. We're walking in the air. We're floating in the moonlit sky.
At that time, Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy was running, and I loved that choir boy in the opening. The purity of it, and all the awfulness of the spy world. And Hard and I talked about that, and he liked the idea.
I said, look, where do we find a fantastic boy soprano who can really sing? I think we should go to St. Paul's Cathedral.
I'm holding very tight.
We went along on a Sunday afternoon after evensong, and we sat there, and 6 boys all sang Walking in the Air, one after the other. And we both looked at each other, and we both said simultaneously, second one from the right.
I can fly so high above with you.
Who sang it is one of these great kind of pub trivia questions, isn't it?
Walking in the Air, Aled Jones.
It's Aled Jones.
Aled Jones.
Always answered by people who had about 9 pints, and they say, yep, Aled Jones, and put it down.
It's Aled Jones, isn't it? I don't know why everyone thinks I sang the song in the movie. I keep the bluff going.
I know it wasn't Aled Jones originally, although Aled Jones did subsequently have a hit with it, I think.
Is that a popular misconception?
You're kidding.
I'm Peter Orty. I was a chorister at St. Paul's Cathedral Choir School. I did the original film version of We're Walking in the Air for The Snowman. I think it helped a lot with Aled's fame, because I hadn't heard of him before he did it, so...
Did you know there's a store the size of a sports field crammed with 1 million toys? It's called Toys R Us.
Toys R Us wanted to use Walking in the Air for their new advertisement, so they contacted Howard Blake and asked if it'd be all right to re-record it. He said fine. He'd heard of this sort of Welsh voice soprano with a terrible haircut, who had quite a nice voice, so why not contact me and I might re-record it. And that's exactly what happened. So it was my voice on the adverts.
They seem quite similar. I don't think many people can really tell them apart.
I'm holding very tight. I'm riding in the moonlight blue.
Did he just completely nick it? Fantastic, Aled. Right?
I think his came out at the right time, obviously before mine. I was trying to catch up at number 37.
I suppose I knew it was kind of something quite big. You know, you're going to be on Top of the Pops with the Pet Shop Boys and people like that. And I was kind of, wow, petrified because, you know, how do they dance to Walking in the Air? But up went the lighters, you know, and a bit of sway. So I was mightily relieved, really.
That was a tremendous hit. So much so that Aled, 15 years later, is still the boy who sang Walking in the Air.
A lot of teasing in school about your voice. I mean,
frequently.
There's a song that everyone sang when I was at school, and it was sung sort of every day for about 5 years, and it used to go, my name is Aled Jones, I like to pick my nose, I like to pick my bum, especially with my thumb, ah-ooh. So I heard that for, you know, 5 years.
Peter must be really raging at that everyone thinks it's an Aled Jones song.
I assume he's mightily miffed that his one moment of fame, everybody thinks that he was Welsh.
I don't think of it that way. A lot of people would.
It's too sad. It kills me every year. I can't watch it. We'll be at home with Mum and Dad's, and it'll come on, they'll go. Because it makes me go.
If you didn't cry to that, I want to know why. That snowman melted.
One tiny thing. At the very end, it ought to snow. It doesn't. And I'm going to change it too. Because it's like saying, life does go on and you can build another one.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I've got to be going. Presents to deliver, chimneys to get stuck in, that sort of thing. It's a hard life, but I tell you, the holidays, ooh, yummy. Even teachers don't have it so easy. Bye. Merry Christmas, everybody, and a happy, peaceful New Year. Jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle bells.
And plenty of nostalgia still to come on BBC Two with a compilation of the best of I Love the 80s at 8 o'clock on New Year's Eve. Back to tonight and a whole decade earlier. I Love 1972 is at 10:45.